Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Nana's Adventures. I have another YouTube called Nana's Space, which is just for movies, reviews or trailers and shows. This is going to be about other adventures, careers, faith, holidays, among other things. I am kicking this channel off with an interview with a friend of mine about physician associates, and I have a few interviews that I've lined up, including some vlogs. So be on the lookout. Do check the channel out. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And so this video was recorded back in July 2021. Hello everyone, my name is Nana and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm not doing any reviews of series, we'll be reviewing our profession. So many of you probably don't know this, but I'm a physician associate. I am here with my friend who did a course with me. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi there everyone, my name is Jessica.
So we've teased up a few questions that we'll be going to discuss it, and hopefully by the end of our video you would learn something new about our profession. Can we start the questions?
Question number 1. Had you heard about physician associates before applying, and if so, where? So for myself, I learned about the physician associate profession and course just a few months before applying and getting accepted to interview, and it was actually a poster email from my university that I was attending already, University of Glasgow, that was advertising.
I think one day I was going down the stairs, and when I got to the living room, I saw on the TV a physician associate being interviewed by BBC. So at the end of the news, I just went on Google, looked it up, and looked at the course requirement, and I thought, this looks like something that I would enjoy, because in my undergrad program, the kind of course structure was quite similar content, but it had a bit more depth to it. And at that time, I think there was about only 5 universities doing it. So I applied to all, got accepted by 3 or 4. And then my last one was in Aberdeen, Scotland, and I decided to go with that one. Not for any reason, I just enjoyed the interview, and they also funded part of my uni course. So yeah, that's how I heard about it. The next question.
Second question, what was your impression before doing the course, and how did it change, if at all, when you did it? I suppose the impression that I did was all from the information on the university website, which kind of talked about the clinical practice, merging with the lectures, where we would be joining in with, I think, mainly medical students. So I didn't have too much of an impression before actually studying the course. Having had done the course now, I would say it's much more intensive than perhaps what the website would suggest, and
I agree.
yeah, definitely you need to go in giving it 110% is what I'd say.
Agree.
Yeah.
My thinking was, oh, I'm gonna go to university again, like when will it finish? But it was so intense that the 2 years went by so quickly. Like, you were always learning. It was so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed the learning process. The support was really good, and I liked the formative and summative approach of Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Because you're always literally studying for a test next week. So by the end of the year, you're not trying to cramp in everything. You know a little bit. If you did study for those formatives, you know enough to do a summative, and I think that was really helpful, and I enjoy the placement as well. So going in, I've never done the placements like that where you do different rotations. In pharmacy, you just did one pharmacy and that's it for 1 year. But I didn't know that you'd be getting to know so many different departments and so many facets of it, and I think that really was great addition to the course. Had I known that before going in, maybe I would have psyched myself and be very stressed, but I didn't know all that, so just dive into the deep end and then get on with it, really.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the placements as well. I would say at the time I was a bit more stressed out about completing the forms we needed to do. You know, your DOPS, KEX, CPD, tabs, etc. And perhaps I didn't take in as much as I could from each department because I was focused on completing those assessments. So I suppose if anybody does decide to do the PE course, I would say enjoy it and learn as much as you can, and don't think too much about the assessments. Just study as hard as you can, absorb as much info from, you know, your books, your lecturers, and other sort of doctors and allied health professionals that you do come across.
I completely agree. But what I also liked about the DOPS and KEX on each department is that it allowed you to structure your month. So
Yeah.
it wasn't just there, you know, aimlessly having fun. That was also good, but it meant that you were actively looking for certain things to get signed off.
Yeah.
And so it gave you a purpose. You know, you woke up in the morning thinking, oh, maybe if I go into endoscopy, maybe I learn this, or if I go to this department, I might learn how to do a catheter or cannula, or, you know, get things signed off. So it add purpose to your, if you structured it properly, you add purpose to it, because at the end you do an OSCE and you get these things signed off. So if you did take advantage of replacement that way, OSCEs were just a walk in the park.
Yeah.
In those categories. So yeah, next question.
Third question. Were there any challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
Okay, welcome back. We had to take a little bit of a break, but we are back with question 3.
Okay, so were there any challenges you faced and how did you overcome them? Shall I go?
I can go first on this one. So for me, because I was working part-time in Primark as well as doing the placement and being in class, time management was a huge challenge. Thankfully, you know, I managed to do that, but it's not recommended. You know, when you get in the course, they say to you, don't do any work extra, because it is quite intensive. So if you know you're someone who cannot manage or juggle so much, try and look into funding. Get full ride, and that will literally take your mind off all those stress. Anatomy was something I'd never done before, so I spent half of my time googling body parts, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was a great addition to the course. Okay, so as I was saying, once you've worked out the time management, it makes life easier. Otherwise, you end up burning yourself up towards the end. We had so much support, though, I have to say. Aberdeen did a very good job with support. What about you?
I would say it's much the same. I was lucky enough not to have to work whilst doing my PA studies, but it was still very challenging with the amount of workload, even with the course alone. Your anatomy, your clinical practice, and all the lectures that you had to attend, it was each day was more or less jam-packed. So yeah, time management, prioritizing which sort of lectures to study first, and organizing. I think on the ward, on your placements as well, that can be quite tricky, because it was the first time for myself being in a hospital and a GP setting, and you can get quite lost as well when you're, especially if you're in quite a large department or a large hospital. There could be times where you would turn up on your first day of your clinical placement, and some of the staff might not know who you are, or that you're even meant to be on placement, and it can take a bit of time to find your place within the top department. Some placements could just be 1 week, some can be 1 month. I did often find that in the 1 month placements, near the end of it, you kind of got to know the staff. How was the job search process, and do you think it has changed? So it's a little bit far back, but I believe I found the job posting on the NHS Scotland website. If it wasn't that, then it was the NHS Grampian website, and you essentially just searched physician associate, and a number of listings would come up. I believe the process is much the same now, and not much has changed. I think it does work, and they make it slightly easier because you can set up alerts for keywords. So you could put in keywords physician associate, and they'll just send you, I think it's maybe once a month, alerts of what posts have come up within those that are associated with those keywords. I think it works. Perhaps there might be a better way to advertise jobs.
I applied through NHS Jobs and NHS Grampian. When we were starting the course, there was only like 2 or 3 jobs advertised per week, but now like there's so many. So I found mine very straightforward. Again, it took about 2 weeks. They got back to us and then had an interview. I had a virtual interview at that time because I was in Scotland, and then got the job straight away. So again, it was an internship year, and then you do like once you finish the internship, some employers convert it to like full-time job, or you have to then finish it and apply again to a different specialty. So I think mine was a internship into full-time, and then yours was internship, and then you could apply to a different one. Okay.
So mine was internship, 1-year internship, and I extended the internship duration, but it was still a band 6 post, and for my trust I had to apply for a permanent post for it to be a band 7 post, so it was another interview and application process.
Whereas mine was just 1 year, and then when you finished, as long as you completed a 1 year with no troubles with your probation period, you transitioned into band 7 straight away. And I think it hasn't changed much, as Jessica said.
So,
there's more jobs, if anything at all. There's more jobs in different combinations. Like I'm seeing like people doing part GP, part tertiary care, and getting to education and other combinations. So yeah, next question.
Now that you've been working as a physician associate for a few years, do you think it was the right choice, and will you change anything looking back? For me, I 100% do think it was the right choice. I enjoy working as a PA more than I thought I would. I thought I would enjoy it, but I don't think I knew to what extent. In some ways, I think it can only get better with regulation and hopefully prescribing rights as well. So I'm super excited with future opportunities and hopefully more responsibilities that will come with regulation and everything else.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I didn't know the extent to which the course will, open up so many opportunities to do different things. It's a very new path, so we're almost like pace setters. It's not for the faint-hearted. Some people can easily give up or get discouraged because you are trying to fit yourself into spaces that are not typically available. So from a student's point of view, you get yourself psyched into that space, employment, and then once you start working, it's a completely different terrain because you don't have your teachers or lecturers or someone in the back of your ear telling you to make sure you do UKCAT, make sure you do like a DOPS or TAB or anything. Like you have to now do this on your own, and you're being paid for it, so a lot of responsibility, but it is good fun. Like it has really challenged me, I think, as a person from a professional point of view, and I wouldn't change it. I value for money, if you ask me. Anyone who wants to pay to do it, value for money, and now there's funding as well from what I see. So yeah, great course.
Yeah, definitely. Question 6: what is your opinion on regulations under the GMC? It's a bit difficult to know 100%, because a lot of the things are still to be set in stone, but I imagine it can only benefit us as a profession, being that we will officially be a more protected title, and it'll ensure, I suppose, the standard of care and practice amongst all physician associates. So I suppose watch this space with more updates on the progress of the regulation process, and as well, maintaining our license as well. We'll see how that goes.
And I agree, and I hope that opens doors for international opportunities, because we're so limited in the UK, but with regulation, just like GMC is recognized in other countries for doctors to work outside. If you wanted to relocate to somewhere like Canada or Australia, you shouldn't be limited by the UK's regulation, but hopefully that can transfer on. And as Jessica said, it can only get better. I mean, everyone has, their own misconceptions or reservations about the regulations, but ultimately it is there to protect us and give increase the public's confidence in us as healthcare professionals. So yeah.
Your thoughts on the UKCAT approach on student applications? Nara, would you like to start?
Yeah,
with this
so
one?
I think we saw a post about St. George's starting to do UKCAT. So if you don't know what UKCAT is, it's almost like an entry exam sort, if you like, before you even apply to get onto the course. Medicine does that because there's so many applicants, and it kind of sees through and picks the cream of the cream, if you like, but it has its limitations. I was just saying to Jessica that you might end up losing some good applicants who just didn't do well in that test. But the other side of it is that there's so many people, random people, applying for this course because there's not funding. So it will really challenge those applying to see whether they genuinely want to do this course, or is it just because it's available and free money to do it. That's why they're applying. What do you think?
I would agree. I think it would probably weed out the less serious candidates. So as it has its pros and cons, I suppose. I'm not 100% sure. I've not gone through the UKCAT test or the process. I've heard it's very challenging and could, as you said, put off some potential very good candidates. I know not all the universities are doing the UKCAT test to enable you to apply. So I suppose you might even see a slight difference in students between the universities, and we'll find out in time how they fare, I suppose.
Definitely.
Yeah. Second last question. What do you look forward to for the years to come in terms of career progression? So I think we kind of touched on that already, with regulation under the GMC. The hopes are, but I think the plans are that after that we would get prescribing rights after we've been through extra training and an examination process, and I'm sure with that will come with more responsibilities, probably be able to do more work out of hours, although I know quite a lot of us are already doing that. I suppose those that aren't, their departments or the hospital itself might have increased confidence to allow PAs to work out of hours, including overnight shift or public holidays, etc. It would be another step towards working even more autonomously if we're able to prescribe and organise radiology, etc. And I suppose maybe even more expansion into the other specialty departments. I think we've already penetrated quite a lot of specialties already, but I suppose there are some specialties, say, I don't know, dermatology, pediatrics. Yeah, there's other specialties that haven't taken on as much PAs as, say, GP or surgery, emergency medicine. Yeah.
And a lot of these have their reservations with regulation. That is what is limiting them. So hopefully once regulation comes in, it will be more of a policy to integrate and employ rather than an option to say, oh, do we want to employ or not. I did a placement in Moorfield Eye Hospital, which looked after a lot of diabetes patients with eye problems, and that is a chronic condition that will really benefit from a physician associate being there long term. So hopefully with regulation, if they've not considered already, that will be something that will be interesting to see. And I was just mentioning earlier on that because of the backlog of surgery, elective surgeries, people are now considering or possibly will be going into private, and we're hoping that the private sector will take advantage of the number of physician associates out there looking for jobs, and augment their procedures with this support. So yeah, the future looks bright.
Yeah, definitely. Last question. Will you recommend this role to a friend? Definitely, but I would say be prepared to put in a lot of hard work. I think you need to be a lifelong learner, because I think the work never stops. There's always new knowledge, new information, new guidelines. I think you need to be an all-rounder and want to be patient-facing as well, because you need to be very good in your communication skills, be very happy to speak to people, and have a little bit of professional curiosity as well, and be a team player. But yeah, overall 100% would recommend this role, and currently we're extremely employable by the looks of it. So yeah, good career prospects.
Definitely, and not to say that you need to have all these qualities at the door before you get in, because it can be quite overwhelming. But these things we've picked up over the course of 3-5 years. So be willing to learn. If you apply yourself, you get all these qualities that Jessica has highlighted. And definitely value for money for anyone who's looking into transitioning into something different. If you want to invest your time and your money, your resources, the prospects are very, very good. And I feel like it is a good top up to so many different foundation undergrads. Like, it's so multifaceted, and unlike other courses like medicine, where you have to have maybe go from A levels into it. You can either, some universities are doing undergrad straight into it, or do postgrad, where most people have different life sciences backgrounds getting into it. So an employer can employ 3 PAs with 3 different backgrounds, and that will just add to the specialty, really. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in. If you have any questions, leave them below to me or Jessica, and I'll pass it on to her. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully if you're considering this course, I hope that we have challenged you to apply. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm not sure many of you know this, but I'm actually a physician associate. I'm here with my friend Jessica.
Hi.
And we'll be answering a few questions about our profession, and hopefully by the end of the video you will learn something new. So can we get right into the questions?
Yeah. Number 1, had you heard about physician associates before applying, and if so, where? I'll go first.
Yep.
Yeah. So I hadn't heard. I did. Wait. Okay. Actually, Nana, you would have heard about the physician associates course before applying.
Yes, but before you applied, did you know anything about? I mean, we all know about doctors.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you applied to do medicine.
Okay.
But you wouldn't have known about physician associates, and then you heard about it and applied. So, generally, had you known in your life, have you known about anyone who
before?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was only like a few months before I applied.
And where did you get to find out?
Oh, sorry. Are we? Oh,
yeah.
Can we start again? I'm sorry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nana.